Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, I'm walking out of the NoHo Hotel. Checked in, everything's good. It smelled like super ammonia in there, so I had to let that thing air out for about 30 minutes before I even walked out. But right now I'm just gonna go down to the spot to get what I need to pay for the rent tomorrow to make sure I have just everything. I probably won't go to Hollywood or nothing like that right now, even though I wouldn't mind, but this will be my outing. This will be the one I make. So I'll just walk down here. It'll take about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get there, what have you. Not even that far, actually. But yeah, man, feeling pretty good. I had another set of weird dreams last night, man. Another set of very weird dreams. I don't exactly remember the first one, man, but I do remember that it ended with me giving Michael Jackson the biggest hug I had ever given a grown man, not my father. Telling him he meant the world to me. But the funny thing about it was Michael Jackson was like he would be if he were alive today, incognito. He had on a mask made of like wool, but I could tell it was him because of how it was dressed and because of the eyes. And what he was basically saying was, I ended up walking into where he was, and he was on the street talking on like a soapbox type thing with like a blowhorn, something, not a blowhorn, but like a whatever they call those things that you make noise with, blah 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 blah, like on the street, like you would hear some religious people would do, or like somebody who's just you know, it was almost like he was doing a call out. But he was talking about, and I knew it was his voice. I could tell it was his voice. That was another thing. I was like, whoa. And he was saying, you know, our people, talking about black folks, we need to get back into real estate. It's very important we own our own land. And that's what he was talking about. And I was like, man, that sounds like Michael Jackson. And I looked at it, I was like, yo, that's Michael Jackson. And when I got up close to him, I'm like, yo, that's Michael Jackson. And I gave him the biggest hug like I was a little kid. I felt like I was 5 years old all over again, and I met Michael Jackson at that age or something. But that was really what I remember, more or less, from the dream. It was different parts about that dream that come back to me. Like, for example, I was in at a job of some sort where I was wearing the same old security uniforms that I can't stand, and ended up seeing somebody who looked like one of the security guards that I used to work with. And sort of like another dream that I told y'all about, the person turned around and it wasn't who that I thought it was. But it was almost like the voice was telling me, this is a job you want because you're going to meet somebody there. And then I ended up meeting some girl who's actually a Facebook friend of mine. I don't know why she popped up in my dream, but Instagram, actually, some type of artist that I know, that I follow. But she ended up being somebody that was like a love interest in the dream. And it was strange. The whole thing was strange. I remember hearing my voice, once again, hearing my own voice say, I finally got my rhythm back, or something like that. Very strange stuff, but it all boiled down to me walking down the street and then seeing Michael Jackson talking about real estate and black people owning real estate. So that was incredible, man. The dream was absolutely incredible, and it was a good way for me to end my tenure in that room. That gave me nothing but incredible dreams the whole time I was there. It really did. It was nothing but. This morning went smoothly. Had a great Uber ride over. Guy was definitely helpful. You know, he waited for me because, you know, the lady in the front office was very busy. So we weren't able to get me out of there before he arrived. So he allowed me to load up my car, and he sat there for probably about 10 minutes waiting for me to get my deposit. So I really appreciated that. And everything went about as smoothly as it ever has. You know, I ended up waiting out here until about 2 o'clock though. So I was waiting for about an hour and a half, but I wasn't even bothered by it at all, because whatever I was doing was basically the same thing I would be doing if I was in the room anyway, looking at my phone, listening to content about sports and all the chatter surrounding LeBron James' post last night and everything. So it was just a smooth morning, very smooth morning as far as what I was doing. Woke up fresh. I slept a lot. That was another thing. I think I went to sleep like around 9:30, 10 o'clock. But I woke up out of one dream, it was still dark. Went to sleep, woke up out of another dream, it was still dark. Went to sleep. So it was like I had a lot of rest. They did end up turning off the water yesterday. I know I didn't probably even make a therapy session yesterday. So I didn't actually leave the house. I slept in the daytime, so I'm well rested. I can tell y'all that much. I did my hundreds yesterday night, and then immediately turned around and did them today, this morning, instead of my suitcase squats. For the first time in like 2 months, I decided not to do my suitcase squats because the suitcase was entirely too heavy. My back was already sore, and I made up my mind that I need cardio a little more than I actually need powerlifting right now, because my gut is growing. So I'm like, let me do my hundreds this morning in place of my suitcase squats. So that's what I did, and it makes me I feel even fresher right now because I've already done cardio. So when you consider all the sweating that's happened over the last 24 hours, I just feel like I'm in the best shape I've been in weeks. So that's what it is, man. A lot of rest, and I feel good to be out here getting fresh air. And there ain't really a whole lot to complain about. My dreams was good. I woke up in the morning. My uncles made sure that the cash was there. I sent him a text last night, so we didn't have any blemishes with that situation there. And everything is good. Now I'm just gonna go out and get what I need to get to make sure that I have what I need tomorrow. That way I ain't got to get up in the morning early to make that walk I made 3 weeks ago. Last time I was telling y'all, go down to the little police station ATM. Just figured I'd take care of that right now. So I ain't got to get up at 6 in the morning. Because, of course, I had to do that yesterday because of the situation with the water being turned off. So, and then, because they turned the water off, our water pressure and the heat on the water was so much better than it had been the entire 3 weeks I'd been there. So that was really good. Just had a much better shower for a change. And so I think that was, as I had prayed about last time, I was like, Lord, make me 10 times more prepared for this type of situation. I was like, it's not that this is a big deal, and it's not, but just make me better for it. Man was asking me where a weed shop was. I couldn't think of nothing but the one across the street from the other hotel. There's one right there. Just past one. There's another one down here. I hope he saw one of the closer ones instead of going all the way to where I sent him, because it's about 3 or 4 of them in between where he was when he asked me, and the other one I told him, but never mind that. Point is, tried to help there, but nevertheless, it was a lot good that came from me being able to just take some time off yesterday, sleep in the daytime, watch the Laker game, did some of the best art pieces I'd done. That was really what came out of yesterday. Some of my better art pieces in one flurry were made yesterday in that room. And I tell you, that room was really inspiring for the art for whatever reason. I think it might have been the seat I had and the desk. Certain things you take for granted, but I think that's what it was. The overhead lights. I just felt great about doing art in that room. And so just a lot of positive energy, man. I ain't got no bad thoughts. My prayers were answered that I would be 3 times or 10 times, I think I said 10 times more ready for this process that I just did, where I had to take all my stuff out the room and get over here and all that, than I was last time, because last time I was a bit uneasy about it, and that just comes and goes. I don't even remember why. But today, I felt great about it. I feel fresh, physically, mentally, and that's that. I feel good. That's something I can't say I felt too often over the last couple of weeks, physically, especially. But it is what it is, man. Just got to keep walking in the direction of trying to improve upon my situation. And just like I was telling the dude that I was in the Uber with, I feel so much more, I guess, appreciative of the little things in my life, man. It's easy to, prior to these hard times, say, oh, man, things are so rough, this, that, and the third. But now it's like, nah, not really, man. Things have been a lot worse over the last 6 months than they had been probably over the last 6 years. So it's like, I'm appreciative of where I'm at already. I don't have some of the complaints and the bad energy that was coming with just being slow to appreciate what's going on in my life. You know what I mean? You're slow to appreciate certain things when you don't have a whole lot of problems. It's like, the littlest paper cut feels like a gunshot wound. And as you grow older, and you go through more, or as you go through difficult times, you just get to a point where it's like, nah, these things aren't that bad, man. not only are they not that bad, but I got more of a resistance for the bad. As it becomes what it's going to be, I feel a lot stronger. I feel a lot more capable of being consistent in those moments. And I think that's what I found. Jesus Christ. My God, man. Somebody must have hit this with their car or something. Hit that thing. 10 times? Wow. Wow. Right? Man. But you know, it's one of those things where you just look up and you say, thank God, thank you for fixing me. That the problem may not have been fixed, but I'm so much more equipped to deal with problems such as this. I'm not as soft mentally, I'm not as weak emotionally, I'm not as distracted from my goals within the stress of the circumstances. Like, I was thinking about that as I was in the room yesterday doing my workout, my hundreds. It's like, it felt easier to force myself when I wasn't feeling good. I had a little bit of a headache because I wasn't getting the fresh air that I needed yesterday. And so I was like, man, I don't particularly want to work out. I think this is actually the street. I think about it, I think this is the street. That's why I should be turning here, crossing there and going there. That's how I'll do it. But I didn't particularly want to work out, but the resistance to relax was so much less powerful on my mind. It was like, nah, I'm gonna throw on some headphones, throw some music on, I'm gonna work out, and then since I'm not gonna be able to shower until about an hour or two after the workout's done, I'm gonna immediately go straight to artwork. It was like I had a whole plan in my head, and it wasn't hard for me to fulfill that plan despite having the headache. And I told myself and knew for a fact that if I do this, I'm gonna feel better for it. And then somewhere halfway through the workout, I'm like, yeah, and tomorrow morning, I'm gonna do this again. Instead of doing my suitcase squats, I'm gonna push forth and do that fresh out of bed. And so I made my whole little plan and fulfilled that entire plan. And I'm certain I feel a lot better because of it. And it's just that resistance that was so much more difficult for me in the past, where it would be like, I don't feel like it, but I gotta overcome myself. And just the nature of overcoming oneself becomes much more doable once you force yourself to the more so going forward in your life. And that's what I want to tell people. Like, I officially am now at 100 push-ups per setting. So every time I get down, I'm doing 100 from here on out. I just skipped past 95. I did 95 yesterday, and I'm like, man, I feel good enough to do 100 now. So it's like these type of things. It's like there was a time where telling myself to get down and do 20 push-ups was a headache. And then telling myself to do some more after that, it hurt so bad. But it's like when you push yourself for years, for which is year 3 of me doing this, it took a long time for me to get to a point where it wasn't a big deal. But now that I'm in this point, I don't feel myself ever going back. I'm taking no days off. I ain't even taking hours off. It's that kind of thing. And so for me, it's like, that's what I can share with people. The art, that's not the word art, but the notion that you can overcome yourself becomes easier as you continue to do so. Your effort in trying is not as hard to accomplish the more you force yourself to do so. And that's something that I did not understand when I was younger and when I was in bad shape and when I didn't have myself challenging myself very often. It's like you feel like that uphill battle that you feel every time you start while in that weakened space. It's the same way it's going to feel to start every time you're in that weakened space. And we talked about this type of thing before, but that's not how that goes. That's not how that goes. What ends up happening is it gets easier for you to overcome yourself. That part of you that tells you don't want to do it, it has less and less of a weight upon your actions. And because your body's getting in better shape, you'll find yourself popping up easier, jumping up easier to do things. Because it's not so much of a load for you to not only overcome yourself, but physically you're also stronger at the same time. So it doubles down on the ability to do. And that's why I tell everybody who's comfortable being weak or comfortable being lazy or what have you, You're talking to somebody who lived lazy for a long time. Mindset, lazy, willingness to move, unwilling. The resistance to being productive, maximum. I only wanted to do what I wanted to do. And couldn't overcome myself in certain areas and still have trouble too. But when it comes to physical stuff, get up, let's move, get up, let's work out. The more you force yourself to, the easier it will be to force yourself to as you continue on that path. So it's worth it to force yourself to. Essentially what I'm saying to you, it's worth it. If you're wondering if it makes sense to go to the gym right now, you don't feel like it, you push yourself this time and it will get easier as you go along. It'll get easier. It's going to take time though. That's the thing about it. This feeling doesn't come until you've hit 700, 800, 900 times, which is a lot, but it's a progressive easier and easier and easier and easier. You know what I mean? As far as the push-ups is what I'm referring to when it comes to this. It's like when I first had to tell myself I was going to do push-ups every time I went to the restroom, which is what I do. It's like you only do as many as you can feel you can do, and then understand you're going to have some sore days because you're forcing yourself to do something that's abnormal. But the desire to do it, the only reason why I even had the motivation to do it is because I dedicated that to God. For myself, that's meaningful. For you, it may be something different. But the point is, you got to have that I don't know if that's the right word, but that inner desire to make it greater than yourself so that you'll always return to it. And then as you do that, you'll see this manifest from within you, pushing yourself to do it in the name of whatever is meaningful. Whatever it is. Same went for me when I went to go jog. When I first started jogging, I wasn't necessarily doing it for God, although I asked God to help me. It was more so about wanting to lose weight at all costs. And the desire to see that weight fall off of me was stronger than that of which my mind was telling me to relax and let it stay that way. I was so sick of looking that way and feeling that way that I was like, you know what? I'm going to push this. And when I'm done pushing this, I'm going to look the way I want to look. And I ain't going to stop until I get there. You know, but you have to have that idea in your mind that you want to do it. Doing it for somebody else, you can let that be what powers you. But the problem is that's not sturdy, because if something goes wrong with that friendship, relationship, or what have you, then tend go to your desire to do it. So it's got to be something unwavering that would otherwise make you keep coming back to it. And that's why I say God, because God's never going to disappoint me to the point where I don't want to do for him what it is I've promised to do. You know? And so that's really what it is. I think at the end of the day, you just got to believe it's worth applying something like this to the betterment of yourself. And then from there, overcoming self so that you can take control of what it is that your effort is really about, if you are a lazy-minded person. Because otherwise, you're not going to have that control over your own effort. And you're going to wish you did. The control over one's effort will bleed into other areas of your life, I believe, as well. And so that's what's helped me. Plus, when you're going through stress, like I've been going through, and uncertainty in life, you want the ability to control your own mind and effort. You want the ability to be spry and move around. You want the ability to be disciplined to save money if your situation's like this. You want the ability to lift heavy if you got to be in a situation like this. Different things that you want to be able to do. And if you let stress coupled with laziness come together, what you're going to end up being is in lesser shape, which begets more of all that's wrong. Fatigue, more propensity to walk away into things that make you even further less disciplined, like bad foods, things that ultimately make you even further more stressed, like lesser effort that turns into more problems. This is a lot of things that you can overcome by pushing yourself physically to work out, pushing yourself physically to do more. And then from there, as you do so, you find yourself being able to handle those aspects of life a bit more feasibly, I guess is the word. So that's what I'm telling everybody. You're going through stress, keep moving. You want to overcome self in order to overcome the difficulties in your life. If you're not pushing yourself to overcome that for which makes you lesser, you're gonna have a hard time overcoming what is coming at you outside of yourself. You gotta first win this battle, and then as you win this battle, you start winning some of the battles around you. Your effort can kind of pull you out of circumstances. Your strength will pull you out of circumstances, but you gotta work on that. You gotta put forth the effort within that. So that's what I want to say, man. I'm now here. Go take care of what I gotta take care of. Come back out. Maybe make another video. My name's BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching.